Hi, my name's Maddy Warren. I'm 36 years old and I live in Warwickshire. I've been a home dialysis patient for 21 years so far. I can't have a kidney transplant, so dialysis is probably for the rest of my life. I did 5 years on PD, and then since then I've done 16 years so far on home haemodialysis and primarily nocturnal haemodialysis. So I dialyse through the night while I sleep, around 6 or 7 hours, at least 5 nights a week on the haemodialysis machine using a fistula. So I'm getting at least 35 or 40 hours a week of dialysis treatment, which in my opinion has transformed my experiences of dialysing and mean that I feel incredibly well, full of energy. Despite so many years on dialysis, I still don't have really any long-term symptoms or side effects, and I certainly don't feel any day-to-day impact of being on dialysis. And I have a free fluid and diet regime because I dialyse so much and so often. I started dialysis when I was 14 years old after a couple of years being very, very sick with an autoimmune kidney condition in hospital. And since then I've been through various health crises, a very difficult attempted transplant that sadly didn't work and left me very, very sick, and had a few near misses of not surviving it. And so over the years, like many kidney patients, I've had lots of health crises and times when my health has really gone downhill or I've had to have major surgery, and so my fitness obviously kind of went back to square one every single time, and it's been a real kind of motivating factor and quite challenging to rebuild my fitness every single time and get myself back to where I would like to be on a day-to-day basis. But doing that has no doubt at all, I have no doubt that has helped me survive long-term kidney failure so much better, and actually be really positive about it and really feel like I'm still getting so much out of life despite having to be hooked up to a machine. And so fitness is just so important from my point of view. I think looking after our whole bodies as well as doing what we need to do for our kidneys is critical. I think we can all do something, even with other conditions and perhaps mobility impairments or other disabilities and things. There is always something that you can do just to move your body and try and get the blood flowing and just give yourself a little bit of a shake up. And I think in lockdown especially, it's been really hard because so many people have been quite sedentary and stuck at home all the time and maybe not even going able to go out for a walk, and all of us are probably needing to focus a bit more on keeping fit. 2 years ago, so in 2018, I did the London Marathon, which was a massive challenge for me. I'm not really a runner. I never thought I could run a marathon. With wonderful support from friends, I did it very slowly. But since then, I have really become quite obsessively into keeping fit. I train regularly, normally 3 to 4 times a week in the gym, doing weight training and strength training. I do dance classes, things like Zumba. I'm addicted to Pilates and yoga, both of which I credit for rebuilding my abs and my stomach muscles after so much surgery. And so fitness for me has just become a daily part of my life. And during lockdown, I've been switching all my workouts to home and making sure that I don't lose any of the progress that I've gained whilst we're not able to go out and go to the gym. So today I'm just going to share one of the typical workouts that I do at home. You don't need any equipment. I'm using a few things for weights, but you absolutely don't need weights. You don't need instructors. You can get lots of inspiration off YouTube and free videos on Instagram. So don't feel put off by needing to go out and buy things or pay for access, but just being creative in your own living room or in your kitchen, in your bedroom, in your garden, getting your body moving and getting your heart rate up a bit is really important. So I hope this is useful. Just to be clear, this is the exercise routine that I do at home. Before starting any new fitness routine, make sure you chat to your doctor or healthcare team and make sure that you start gradually and build up as you get fitter so that you stay safe and healthy while you exercise. I'm going to show you today a typical workout that I have been doing at home whilst we're locked down and I can't go to the gym. Like I said before, obviously if you're not used to training and exercising, don't go in at 100 miles an hour. I'm going to try and show some variations and simpler versions of these exercises. Obviously you can mix it up with weight or no weight as well. The first thing to do is a really good warm-up. Ideally, if you can walk around for a bit, either if you have a garden you can safely go in, or either up and down stairs, just around your living room, just kind of get your body moving, shrug your shoulders, kind of leg raising, walking, anything like that, marching on the spot, just to kind of get the blood flowing, especially if you've been sitting down a lot or maybe not moving too much. So starting off by just moving your whole body. I like to get my arms moving, I move my head a little bit from side to side, and then good to do a kind of big stretching up, reaching right as high as you can, maybe a little bit reaching out with your shoulders, and then bending down really gently, slowly, rolling your body down as far as you can go. It doesn't matter if you can touch the floor, if you can touch your shins or your knees, as far as you can comfortably go. Don't force it. Rolling up again, up into a stand. I recommend do that a few times and see as you do it. If you do it regularly, you'll find you can start to get your hands further down onto the floor. Then a kind of arms over the top of your head into a nice side bend, so you can feel that stretching all down your ribs. Anywhere that you might have been sitting a little bit hunched, maybe working or watching TV or that kind of thing, making sure that everything is nice and slow and gentle. Don't make any sudden moves. As much stretching as you can possibly do. You can't really overdo it. Well, you probably can overdo it, but not really. So if you can try and stretch a little bit every day, and then especially before a workout, I would recommend stretching for at least 10 minutes and just try and move every part of your body, and that should feel really nice. And if you're stiff or anything like that, I would recommend stretching again the next day to help with that. So just making sure every part of your body is stretched out nicely. So the first exercises I'm going to do are kind of upper body, back and arm strength. You can do these with all sorts of things. You don't even have to use weight if you're just starting off. You can just get used to doing arm movements and kind of getting your arms into a comfortable range of motion. One of the best things to start with though at home is tins. So grab anything that's in the cupboard. They're nice and light, but they give you a little bit to work against. You can also, I filled these up, they're 1 litre bottles with water, so that's 1 kilogram if you want to go a bit heavier than tins. Books, bags of rice, bags of flour, not that anyone's got any flour, anything that feels comfortable to you. And then I've also, because I'm on home dialysis and I've got loads of these tanks of dialysis fluid lying around, they weigh 6 kilograms. So if you're looking for kind of heavier weights, there might be some dialysis supplies if you happen to be on dialysis, but anything that suits you. So whatever weight you want to work with. And I normally do a range of different movements, and I do each of them either for 15 to 20 repetitions or repeatedly for 30 seconds and then a 30-second break. So I'm going to just go through all of the different exercises that I would kind of do for this, and then it's just a matter of repeating as many times as you can, and I'll put at the end of this video kind of the typical number of repetitions that I would do. But first off is a simple just arm raises like this, keeping your arms as symmetrical as you can, trying to control your shoulders so you're not pushing your shoulders up towards your ears. And just strong and smooth, stretching up as far as you can, using the weights just to give yourself some stability. So I suggest if you can do that one for 30 seconds, or you could count up and do maybe 15 of these. If you can't do 15, you can do 5, you can do 10, even adding 1 every time you try, whatever suits you. And then you can do another arm one. I'm going to turn around a little bit so you can, if you just lean forward a little, and slight bend in your knees. You can also use it with your arms flying out to the front, which helps exercise your shoulders. And you can really squeeze into your shoulder blades when you're doing this. Try not to arch your back or anything like that. If it's too much with the weight, you can just do the same, but just clench your fists and get used to that motion of moving your arms up behind your body. You should be able to see it goes into the shoulder muscles. This is really good and really nice for kind of building up strength and also getting those muscles moving. And again, repetition as many as you can, or you could do that for 30 seconds. Another good one, so you might be using tins, is to float the arms up ahead of you like this, keeping them nice and straight, your back straight. All of these should be really controlled. It's not about doing it really quickly, it's about using really good technique. And so set of upper body exercises. I tend to do a bit of upper body and legs and a bit of everything every time I work out, but when I go to the gym, normally we would focus on kind of one body area each time, but we can do what you want because you're at home. So I'm just going to go through and do some sets of those.
When I'm lonely, here and there
to my upper body arm workout, I tend to do work on my core, which has been really important to me because I've had so much surgery over the years and also spending a long time on PD, but it is possible to rebuild them and put them all back together. I started doing intensive Pilates and that's what's really kick-started it, and now I just do lots of core workouts. The first thing I normally do is working in a plank. So a plank is where you're distributing your weight evenly across your arms and then through down into your toes. Your bum should be down and level, not kind of arched up like this. For a beginner's point of view, you can do a plank, thank you Kat. You can do a plank with your knees down, you're still really getting work through your core and upper body. And then as you progress, you can then start to hold a plank for a little bit longer. You might want to start with 5 or 10 seconds and then gradually add more seconds. And then things you can start to do whilst you're in a plank, so once you go up into it, you can then start to take one hand off, this kind of thing. You can also do things like reaching down across to the opposite leg, which is really good mobility work and all of that, but it takes time, so do not overdo it. But plank is a really good way to start engaging and rebuilding all the muscles here. You can also plank onto your elbows like this, and you can do things like pushing up into a high plank, back onto an elbow plank, that kind of thing. And whilst in plank, I also like to do things like mountain climbers, which is bringing the knees forward like this. And you can do that at high speed if you like, or you can just do it really slowly. So there's all sorts of variations that you can do, all of which are really good for your core. So I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. And again, I tend to do something like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds rest, or you can just start timing yourself with 5 and build up from there. So the next thing I like to do is work on my core the other way around, so lying on my back. It's a myth that you just have to do sit-ups and crunches to build your abs and your core. There's lots of stuff you can do and take it really gently again. The main thing is to always make sure you're not arching your back and you are actually engaging your core muscles when you do these exercises, which in the beginning can be quite hard. So you may only do 1 or 2 of them and that's absolutely fine, and then build up, but always making sure your back is nicely relaxed and not arched up, because you obviously don't want to hurt yourself. But I'm going to do some more core leg raising and kind of leg lifting exercises. You can do it 1 leg, you can do 2 legs, you can go higher and lower as you get stronger. And then I'm going to go straight into some exercises just to tone the back of my legs and my butt. And finally, the last exercise that I'm going to do today is squats. I've got really quite dodgy knees, so I squat quite carefully and I don't do it all the time, and it may be something not everybody wants to do, but it's also really good for toning and strengthening up your legs and the big muscles all here. You can do simple, just straight body weight squats, going as low as you can go, keeping your knees kind of going over your feet. Just like this, and hold your arms in front of you. You might want to just do 5 of them to start with. You can do these in the kitchen, you can do them while you're boiling the kettle, you can do them when you get out of bed. You don't have to be doing a workout to do this sort of stuff. You can add weight accordingly. You might want to go back to your tins. This is where I get my dialysis tank involved, and I actually do my squats holding onto the weight just because it adds a little bit to the strengthening of the exercise. So I usually do 10 squats, short rest, then another 10, and then another 10. So just like holding it close to your body like this and just squatting down as low as you can go, and watching that you don't pull on or arch your back at all. Form is really important. It's better to do a couple of these really well than to be doing too many and doing it without the right technique. So that's the end of my working out. I'm actually out of breath just from squatting, so it's quite effective. And the way I like to finish my workouts is obviously doing a bit of cardio and getting your heart rate up. That does not have to mean going sprinting or anything like that. Walking up and down stairs is good. Doing a few kind of star jumps or jumping jacks. Or my favourite thing of all is put on your favourite piece of dance music, or maybe a couple of pieces of music, and just dance around your house. Honestly, it gets your heart rate up, it makes you feel happy, it gets the endorphins going, and who doesn't like a little dance when nobody's watching? So I hope this was helpful, and thank you very much for watching.